Hello once again, the students of 10th Standard English Medium. I welcome you back in my class of English. And in this lecture, we are going to discuss the second poem of your textbook, First Flight. Okay, the name of the second poem is Fire and Ice. And just like in the first poem, this poem is also written by Robert Frost. Okay, again, it's a very short poem. But again, it's a kind of poem which has a deep meaning. Okay, I have written on the board the original poem also, just in case if you don't have a book. And along with the poem, on this side, on the right hand side of your screen, you can see the meaning of some new words also. Along with the new words, I have written the symbolism which has been used in this poem. And then at the end, you will find the theme. Okay, we will also discuss about the main theme of this poem. And in fact, it is the main part of studying this poem, actually. Okay. Once again, I will give you the introduction of Robert Frost, just in case if you have not seen the first lecture. Okay, in the previous lecture, like in the first poetry, I have already given the introduction of Robert Frost, but let me just give it to you once again. Robert Frost's duration was between 1874 and 1963. It means he was born in 1874 and he died in 1963. Okay, and he was a very prominent poet of writing romantic poems. Once again, let me explain you the meaning of the word romantic in the context of literature. Romantic, romance is not something that we find in TV serials or movies. Okay, in the language of literature, romance stands for the love of nature. Okay, so most of the poems written by Robert Frost represent the theme of love towards nature, and he has very beautifully depicted the rural life in his poems. And he was genuinely a lover of nature. Okay, in many of his poems, you find the touch of philosophy also. Okay, and I would like to put this poem in that particular category actually. Okay, it's a philosophical poem. The touch of imagination is also there, and he has also tried to express his own opinion. Okay, so. Firstly, as what we did in the previous poem, again we are going to discuss the two meanings of this poem. The first is the literal meaning. Okay, literal meaning means on the surface reading. Okay, what we try to make out, what is exactly the word by word meaning of the poem. And after discussing that, we will find out the deep meaning of this poem as well. Okay, so let's start. You should pay attention in your book in case if you have the book in your hand, and in case if you don't have the book, then the poem is already written on the board. So let us see. I'm reading the poem line by line, and then I will explain the meaning. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also vague and would suffice. This is how the actual reading of the poem. Okay? Now let us understand this poem meaning-wise. Firstly, we should understand over here that the poetry basically represents a particular debate that is going on in the poet's mind. Okay, it's a kind of debate. Sometimes, debates are of two types. Sometimes we debate we carry on with our debate with our friends, or maybe with the classmates, or maybe in a competition with the people of the similar age group on a particular topic. In which one group or one person takes one point of view and the other opposite group or opposite person would take the opposite view on the same subject. So that particular thing is known as debate. Over here also we will find the same thing. Another type of debate is the debate that is going on in our mind. Okay, for a particular subject we always try and think about the two opposite or the two contrasting possibilities. Okay, so here we should understand that in the opinion, in poet's opinion, okay, what these two words fire and ice stand for. Okay, basically is thinking about the destruction of the world. He knows it very well, perhaps we all know it very well, that anything that takes birth on this planet will definitely come to an end. Any living organism, or for that matter even the non-living organisms also. Nothing is immortal, nothing is there in this world which is going to stay permanently. Okay? Everything that takes birth, everything that begins will definitely come to an end. But how it will come to an end? That is the major question. Each and every person, each and every living organism, or each and every non-living organisms also have different ways to perish. Perish means to come to an end, destruction, right? Because if you have a look at the meaning of the new words, the meaning has already been explained. Perish means to destroy, right? Similarly, desire means to have lust, greed, we also can call it as greed, and suffice means enough. These are the new words in the poem. Okay, so in poet's mind, there is an idea going on. There is a debate or a clash of thoughts going on in his mind about a particular subject, one particular subject. The subject is, how would the world come to an end? Out of his experiences, he might have seen in his life, he might have heard people saying that a day will come when the world will finish by fire. Okay, let's have a look at the poem once again. Some say the world will end in fire. This is how he might have come across with his experiences, that some people say that the world would come to an end with fire. But there are some people who has a different opinion. Some say in ice. Some people has a contrasting opinion that the world will come to an end with ice. I vote with those who favor fire. Okay, from the two opinions, in case if the poet has to choose one opinion, right, then he would like to support those people who say that the world will come to an end by fire. Now over here in the context of this poetry, okay, fire stands for, fire has been used as a symbol of love, desire and lust. Okay, so too much of love, too much of desire, too much of lust can result into a person, or for that matter in the whole world's destruction. That's what the poet favors. Okay, he favors this opinion in the beginning, that in case if the world has to come to an end, then it will end because of too much of love, too much of desire, that means fire. Now let's move ahead. But if it had to perish twice, he's thinking about the contrasting point of view also. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate. Right? Now, he's using this particular verse. He knows that the word hate is the opposite word of love. So in case if love stands for fire, then the hate would stand for ice. So ice can also be responsible for ending this whole world. So I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great. So he is literally using the word ice here, which stands for hate. In case if fire stands for love, then we should understand here that ice stands for hate. So he's also favoring another opinion that in case if fire is responsible for the destruction of the world, ice can also be equally responsible, right? So ice is also great and would suffice. Means ice is quite good enough to cause the destruction of this entire world, right? So hate, or let's say for example cruelty or indifference or anger to anyone, okay, these all terminologies are directly connected with ice according to the poet's opinion, and love, lust, too much of desire, they are directly connected with fire. Okay, now this is the actual or the kind of word by word meaning of this poem. It merely represents the two different opinions about how the world would come to an end. Now, in case if we try to understand the theme of this poem, in order to understand the theme, we firstly need to understand the two of the major symbols which have been used in this poem. The first is fire, which represents greed, lust, fury, or intolerance. And the second symbol is ice, that represents the different negative feelings like cruelty, rigidity, indifference, or hatred towards anyone. Okay, so these are the two opposite symbols which have been used in the poem. And somehow the poet believes that fire is a little bit more stronger than ice. But at the end, as we move towards the end of the poem, he also regards the fact that in case, on one occasion, if fire is responsible for ending this whole world, but in case if the world has to end, the world has to come to an end on the second occasion, then it would be ended definitely by ice, right? So, as far as the theme of this poem is concerned, right, we should clearly understand over here that this entire world is made of so many people, so many living organisms. Okay? So, in case if the person develops too much of lust or too much of love or too much of desire, and in case if each and every person thinks like this, then the world would definitely come to an end one day. Right? So, let's try and read the poem's theme once again. Everything in this world is transitory. Okay? At one point of time, the world or this planet might have taken birth. Obviously, before so many thousands of years ago, the world has taken birth and this planet is thousands of years of age. But again, it was a point of time when it took birth. But from that point onwards, one thing became absolutely sure, that everything in this world is transitory. Means it is bound to come to an end at some point. Death is inevitable. Death is something that we cannot avoid. It will definitely come to us, even in our case also, in case if we have taken birth in this planet, on this planet, then at one point we are definitely going to die. When is that point coming? We are never sure of that. When will that point come? We will never be in a position to say that. Okay? But it is inevitable. It is something that cannot be avoided. Okay? Hatred and indifference are equally destructive as greed and lust. Now, let's have a look once again. This statement is very, very important. Hatred and indifference stand for eyes, and they are equally destructive as greed and lust. Now, greed and lust stand for fire. So, once again, the poet wants to emphasize to the fact that it is more likely to happen that the world will come to an end with fire. But it's not the actual fire as we see. It's not like that the world will suddenly burst in fire, and that's how the entire planet would be engulfed with fire, and that's how it will come to an end. Fire is equal to greed and lust. Okay? In case if we develop too much of desire, if we develop too much of greed, too much of love, too much of lust, okay, then it would be in a form of fire. And in case each and every person has these kind of desires throughout their lives, then that kind of too much of desire can definitely result into the end of the world. Okay, so the world would come to an end most likely in this way. But the poet strongly emphasizes that in case if the world comes to an end for the second time, okay, in case if the world somehow survives from the first destruction, and in case if the second time the phenomenon of destruction happens, then it can be destroyed with ice also, mixed with hatred and with indifference, with intolerance also. Okay, so the message is very, very clear. In case each and every person has the contrasting feelings towards each other, towards one another, like hatred, indifference, or intolerance, or rigidity, then those kind of negative feelings also can result into the destruction of mankind and eventually the destruction of the entire world as well. So ultimately, what is the motive of living in this world? How should we live in this world? Then the hidden meaning of this poem is that man should not be selfish and man should live peacefully without having such negative feelings as too much of love or too much of lust or too much of desire that is fire for us, or without having too much of hatred or indifference. We should try and live with utmost simplicity, okay, and we should live selflessly. We should not be selfish, okay, and we should live peacefully. In case if this level of understanding comes into the mind of each and every person, okay, then the world will neither end with fire nor with ice. So that is the nice message towards the end of the poem that the poet wants to convey to us. I hope this poetry was quite clear to you now. Okay, the message and the theme also is very clear to you now. But still, in case if you haven't understood the poem, then of course you have to read this poem for 2 or 3 times. But even after that, in case if you have any doubt, then you can convey it to me. Okay, the relevant notes concerning to this poem, I will send it to you through the Classroom app, which you must have a look at it and put down in your notebook. The relevant instruction I will send in the same app as well. Okay, thank you very much and you have a wonderful day.